Hello, and today we will be computing this trig limit here. Limit as x approaches 0 of 1 minus cosine x over sine 3x times tan 3x. So we are going to use a few tools in order to solve this. For example, we have this sine property as well as basic trigonometric knowledge. So let's begin. First, we are going to expand tan 3x, which is basically limit as x goes to 0 of 1 minus cos x over sine 3x times tan is tangent of some angle is basically like the sine over the cosine of that angle. So this basically is sine 3x over cosine 3x. So we should first note something here. We know that x goes to 0, meaning that this part here is basically cosine of 3 numbers that are really close to 0. Not really 0, but really close. So if we go to the unit circle here, and we go to 0, which is basically this. Here, cosine, if we project on the unit circle here, cosine is basically 1. So dividing by 1 or multiplying by 1 doesn't really make any change. So this part, we can really just say that this is, we can box it out like this, and say that it goes to 1. And we are going to neglect it in the next step. Okay, so this is basically equal to the limit as x goes to 0 of 1 minus cos x over sine 3x times sine 3x. A number times itself is the number squared, so it's sine squared 3x. Now we are going to use this property that we stated in the beginning. It basically says that sine of the sine of the sum of two angles is equal to the sine of the first angle times cosine of the second angle plus cosine of the first angle times sine of the second angle. So we are going to first let's rewrite this. Instead of saying sine squared 3x, we're going to do this and put the whole thing squared. It's better to write it this way. So 3x, what's 3x? It's 2x plus 1x, which is basically 2x plus x. We can write it that way. Here, let's do it in this place. Sine 3x. So sine 3x is equal to sine 2x plus x. So we are going to use this in order to expand this. Sine of a, which is 2x, the first angle, sine 2x times cosine the second angle, which is x, plus this times this. So plus cosine 2x times sine x. First, let me rewrite this a bit clearer and I'll come back. So we already know the properties that tell us the sine of 2x and cosine of 2x. First, let's start with sine 2x. Sine 2x is basically 2 sine x times cosine x, and we already have multiplied by cosine x, meaning we can just write cosine square x to simplify that. Then we are going to then we have a property for cosine 2x as well, which is 2 cosine square x minus 1. and all this multiplying sine x. There we go. We can develop the bottom line here, this expression here, and it's going to give us 2 sine x times cosine square x plus 2 sine x cosine square x minus sine x. First, what we can do here is factor out. First, we can add these two up, making 4 sine x cosine square x. And then we can factor out everything with sine x, meaning that we get sine x times 4 cosine square x minus 1. There we go. And this, we have it squared. So we can just copy this down here and see how this turns out. There we go. We are going to compute this, and we are going to rewrite sine of 3x as the newfound expression that we just came up with. And this is going to be the limit as x goes to 0 of 1 minus cos x all over sine x multiplying 4 cosine square x minus 1. There we go. So, now what should we be doing? First, this, we can just evaluate it. This is equal to 1. 4 times 1 is 4, minus 1 is 3. We can, by the properties of limits, here we have the right to just get this out of the limit. So we are going to make it a limit of its own. So here we have the limit as x goes to 0 of 1 minus cosine x over sine x. Then times the limit as x goes to 0. It's a bit annoying to write here. Of 1 over 4 times cosine square x minus 1. Here we go. I'm going to have to clear this part here, so if you want to note anything down, go ahead. Okay, that should be enough time, so there we go. Okay, so as we just have said that if x approaches 0, cosine square x will just approach 1, because cosine x approaches 1. So 4 times 1, which is 4 minus 1, making it 3. 1 over 3. This is the value of this limit. We can just put it out to the front, so it is a simpler looking limit. So it's 1 over 3 times this limit here. Limit as x goes to 0 of 1 minus cosine x over sine x. Oh, I forgot something here. First, this was squared. I should just put everything here squared, and then this should be squared as well, so sine square x, and this should be squared as well. So if the whole bottom is squared, we can just put the square right here. Yep, there we go. I was about to mess up. So 1 over 3, this is 1 over 3, the whole thing squared. You can just square this. Okay, so this is basically 1 over 9. There we go. This is because 1 squared is 1 and 3 squared is 9. 1 over 9 limits as, let me just rewrite this in the next line. Yep. 1 over 9. This, we can just rewrite sine square x as 1 minus cosine x. No, 1 minus cosine square x. Because of the Pythagorean theorem tells us that sine square x plus cosine square x is equal to 1. This is by the Pythagorean theorem. We can basically just take this to the other side or subtract cosine square x on both sides, making this 1 minus cosine square x. So this is 1 over 9 limits as x approaches 0 of 1 minus cosine x over 1 minus cosine square x. Okay, so 1 is basically 1 squared. A squared minus b squared, or a number, this is difference of squares basically. We can just, the difference of squares is the sum of the numbers times the difference of the numbers. So we can just basically say that this is 1 minus cosine x times 1 plus cosine x. We can simply rewrite that, making this 1 over 9 the limit as x goes to 0 of 1 minus cosine x over 1 minus cosine x times 1 plus cosine x. We can cancel these two terms. This cancels out with this, leaving us with 1 over 1 plus cosine x, making this the limits 1 over 9 limits as x approaches 0 of 1 over 1 plus cosine x. So as we have just said before in the beginning, cosine of x as x approaches 0 is 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. This is basically 1 over 9 times 1 over 2. Right? Making the final answer, we are going to write this in black. The final answer is 1 over 18. So this limit is basically equal to 1 over 18. And we are going to box this answer. And voila, there we go. Hope you enjoyed this video and hopefully you learned something new. And goodbye.